Right, in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how easy and quickly you can use Blender to create the Wassily chair, or otherwise known as the Bauhaus chair. So this is the finished version of the chair, and this is the wireframe. And if I go to edit mode, you can see that the detail is relatively low. So let's just get started. Okay, so I'm going to start a new instance of Blender, and I've deleted the default cube here. So the first object I'm going to create is a plane. So you press Shift A and create the plane. Alright, then you press Tab to go to edit mode, and then I'm going to get rid of half of this plane. So press Ctrl R to use the Insert Edge Loop tool. Move the cursor to the edge here so it runs across the y-axis, in this case represented by the green line here. So I'm going to click on it and right mouse click so it stays at the center. Press Ctrl Tab, switch over to face selection mode, select half of the face, okay, and then press X to delete away the face. Then go over to the Modifier tab here and then create or rather apply a mirror modifier. Okay, the next thing you want to do is select one of the faces and then scale it down along the y-axis by pressing S followed by Y. Okay, and then rotate by pressing R followed by Y 90 degrees. Alright, and press S to scale it down. Okay, right, and then the next thing you want to do, you want to press E to extrude one section here. Then I'm going to press E to extrude another small section here. Then select this face and press E to extrude. Then press E again to extrude. Alright, and then you can now select this face, press E to extrude again, press E to extrude another small section. Alright, so you can see where this is going. Alright, and select this face, press E to extrude, and then press E to extrude another small section here. Now if you don't get it accurate, you don't have to worry because you can readjust your model later on. Now I'm going to select the top part of the face. I'm going to press E to extrude one section here. And then I'm going to press E again to extrude another small section here. Alright. Then I'm going to select the face here and I'm going to press E to extrude until it touches in the center. Alright. I'm going to do the same for the bottom. Select the bottom face here, and then use the transform manipulator and then move along the x-axis. So you can see the frame of the chair is created at this instance. So now I'm going to create the backrest. Now before I do that, I'm just going to go to orthographic view, then press Z to go to wireframe view. So right now I'm looking at the front orthographic view. I'm going to press Ctrl Tab and switch over to vertex mode so that I can select all the vertex behind. Press A to deselect, press B to use the box select, left mouse click and drag to create a box over one side, and then just move along the x-axis to make it just a little bit narrower. Okay, so you can push it a little bit narrower if you like. Okay, so it depends on how wide you want the chair to be. Right now I've switched back to shaded mode, and I'm going to turn on clipping in my mirror modifier. And I'm going to go back to edit mode, press Z to go to wireframe mode, press Ctrl Tab and then go to face mode. Select the faces, the central faces here. With the clipping on, if you move until the two faces touch, they're going to stick together. Alright, and then you can press X to delete away the face. Do the same for the bottom. Select the central face and then drag it until the two faces meet, and then press X to delete away the faces. The reason why we are doing this is because we do not want the face to be inside this structure here, because right now we're going to apply a Subsurf modifier. Okay, by pressing you can apply it here, okay, by adding the modifier and apply the subdivision surface. Okay, and then I'm going to give it 3 levels, 2, 3, and then I'm going to press Z to go to shaded mode. So now you can see your chair, the Wassily chair. Okay, the basic structure is out, but you can see a bit of webbing here because we don't have enough edge loops here to define the edge here. So before we do that, let's select all the faces by pressing A, and then we're going to set it smooth, alright, under the shading here. So now everything looks smooth. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to insert a few more edge loops to tighten these corners up. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, left mouse click, and then drag it here. Ctrl R, one edge loop here. Ctrl R, and one edge loop down here. You can see the tubular structure is coming out nicely. One more edge loop here. So what I'm doing is just I press Ctrl R, insert edge loop, and then just bring it in. Now if you want to readjust your edge loop again, you want to slide it again, just hold on Alt, right mouse click to select this edge loop. You can use the manipulator to slide it, or you can press Ctrl E and choose the edge slide option. Okay, so it is quite similar. Okay, right now what we want to do is we want to create the seat padding here. Okay, so we want to make it in such a way that it looks like a piece of fabric that's wrapped across this bar here. Now before I do that, I'm just going to move this edge loop down a little bit more. Just bring it down a little bit tighter, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to face mode. Holding down Alt, right mouse click to select this face loop. Alright, and then I'm just going to duplicate it. So press Shift D to duplicate it. Okay, when you press Shift D, you see a duplicate is now linked to the cursor. Right mouse click so it snaps back to the original location. Then press S to scale it up. Alright, so I'm going to press S to scale it up ever so slightly. Okay, and then you're going to switch over to edge mode. Control tab and then go to edge mode. And then you're going to select the corner edge here. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is we want to split the edge by pressing V. V for victory. So you press V. So now you have split the edge. Right mouse click so that it snaps back. Then press E to extrude. And then keep on extruding until the edges touch right in the center. Okay, so you can press X so that it stays in the X-axis. So once it touches in the center, you can left mouse click to place it there. Okay, so now we got one taut sort of a fabric sitting down there. Okay, so let's do the same for the top part here. Now for the backrest, we only want a little bit of the fabric to stretch around here, and also right now the chair design doesn't look to be very comfortable because of the straight bar here. So we're going to modify the design a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control R to add one edge loop right about here. Okay, then I'm going to go to the side view, pressing number 3. Then I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe view so that I can select the subcomponents all the way through. Press A to deselect. I'm going to switch over to vertex mode. And then press B, border select or box select. Left mouse click and drag and select this portion. Press R to rotate. Okay, and then just shift it back slightly. Okay, so you got a shape looking like this. So now it looks a little bit more comfortable. Okay, and also I'm going to insert a few edge loops here. Control R, and maybe give it about 5 edge cuts here, edge loop cuts here. And then I'm going to use proportional editing. Okay, by turning on this button here, or you can press the shortcut O. Okay, watch over here the header. When I press O, okay, it turns on this proportional editing, and then I'm gonna use the sphere, okay, manipulation here, okay, or sphere type of influence. So what you're gonna do is you want to select the center loop here. So hold down to Alt and right mouse click to select the center loop here, and then you can either do this in your side view or your top view. I'm gonna choose my side view, okay, or on second thought a top view so that I can see the spherical influence. So I'm gonna press G, alright, and then to move it. But you notice here, because of the spherical cross section of the influence, you can see a nice curve that goes around the movement. So I'm gonna press Y to lock it in the Y axis, and then I'm gonna roll my middle mouse roller so that I increase the area of influence. Okay, so until to the last vertex here. I'm going to move my mouse up just a little bit and then left mouse click to place it there. Okay, so now I got a nicer bend on the curve. Alright, and also thanks to these vertices, extra vertices, so that I can bend it in this shape. Okay, so now I can create the backrest fabric. Right, so I'm going to press Ctrl R to insert another edge loop and then just place one loop down here. Go press number 3 to go back to the side view. Press A to deselect. Again, go back to wireframe mode, because when you're in wireframe mode, when you select, you will be able to select the 2 points behind when you're in the side view, where only the front vertices are shown. So I'm going to press B to box select and select these group of vertices, and just okay. Notice here my area of influence, or the proportional editing, is still on. I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo. Remember to turn it off by clicking on this button to disable it, or press O as a shortcut button to turn it off. Okay, so once you turn it off, the area of influence will not affect the rest of the mesh when I just move one section. So I'm just going to pull this a little bit lower so that I can have more surface area for the backrest fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on to shaded mode, and I'm going to go to face mode, face selection mode. Hold down to Alt, right mouse click to select this loop here, face loop here. Then go over to edge mode, and my mistake, I didn't duplicate this. I'm supposed to duplicate this face, so let me undo this. Press Shift D to duplicate, okay, and then right mouse click so that the duplicate snap back to place. Then press S to scale it up ever so slightly, just a little bit. Alright, then go over to edge mode and select the corner here. Now we want to break this loop, so to break it, or to split this edge, you press V to break it. Okay, notice now the bottom edge is broken, so I'm just going to move it off slightly, okay, so that I can select the edge which I want to extrude, which is the top edge here. Alright, so I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to lock it along the x-axis, so it extrudes along the x-axis by pressing X. Then move it all the way until it snaps at the center. So what I did was I left mouse click to plant it there. So our chair is almost done, but if you notice, the fabric is paper thin. So what we want to do is we want to give it some definition. So go to the face selection mode, press Alt, right mouse click and select this face loop here, and then using the command Control F, you can choose the command Solidify. So when you click on Solidify, it gives the this fabric a little bit of thickness, which you can adjust over here in the Tools column here, right at the bottom. So you can give it more thickness, okay, or less. Okay, so I'm just going to give it some thickness, but not too much, right? And then press A to deselect. Now we're going to do the same thing to this face here. So press Alt, right mouse click, and then this edge loop will be selected. Then press Control F, apply a Solidify, and we're just going to give it about the same amount of thickness by adjusting the thickness here. So press A to deselect, and then your chair is done. Okay, if you feel that your the thickness here is too, or rather the fabric here is too tight, you can insert a few edge loops by pressing Control R, alright, and then roll your mouse up a few times so that you have a few edge loops. And again, use the proportional editing tool. So select this edge loop first, Alt, right mouse click to select this edge loop, and then turn on the proportional editing. Turn it on. Okay, and then just move your arrow down. Okay, and remember, you have to reduce your area of influence, otherwise you will be affecting the rest of the fabric. Like you can see, the top is being affected by it. So I'm going to just affect these faces like this, and then I'm just going to manually, okay, I'm going to turn off the proportional editing now, disable this, and then I'm just going to manually pull this down to get a relaxed fabric look. Okay, what I did was holding down Alt, right mouse click to select this loop, and then just pull it down and manually pulling this down. Okay, I'm going to do the same for these for this face here. So I'm going to press Control R and then insert a few more edge loops. Okay, and then this time I'm just going to manually move them. Okay, I'm going to holding down the Shift Alt to select this group first, and then move them back slightly. Okay, and then I'm going to select these three and move it back a little bit more. Now these two edge loops, pull them back again, and finally the last edge loop, just gently pull it back to give it that relaxed bent look. All right. So now our chair is done. So what is lacking now is the colors. All right. So before we do that, let's give it a platform to stand on first. So I'm going to press, right now I'm in object mode because I pressed tab to go to object mode. So press Shift A, create a, Shift A, and then create a plane surface. Go to tab mode and press S to scale it up. Now normally I have the habit of scaling in edit mode because this will not mess up the original scale issue. So my advice is when you're doing scaling, try to do your scaling in the edit mode. So once I'm done, press tab to go back to object mode. Okay, I'm going to press 0, number pad, 0 to go to camera view. I'm going to right mouse click and select the camera, press G to pan it, and then press G followed by Z twice so that I can pull the camera back. Okay, I'm going to press Alt Z so that I can turn on the shaded mode. Okay, and position the light so that the chair will look good. Now since I got only one light for the time being, if I render it by pressing F12 now, the shadow is going to be very harsh. So I'm going to create another light just behind the chair. So I'm going to press Escape. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the top view. Press Shift D to duplicate another light with the light selected. I'm going to bring the light back a little bit. And for this light, I'm going to go to the light panel here and reduce the energy by just a bit. Okay, then I'm going to press 0 to go back to the camera view and then press F12 to do another test render. Okay, so with another light behind, you can see now the shadows are not so harsh and the chair looks a little bit better. Okay, so now let's give the chair some materials. Right, so for the main chair itself, okay, I'm going to switch back to shaded mode. Alright, and then I'm going to edit mode, and then I'm going to select the entire chair, or rather I'm just going to select only the loops here, the structure here. So I can go to face mode, select one of the faces and press L. Okay, sometimes you press L a couple of times to select the linked object, and you notice that the fabrics are separate. Okay, because when I duplicated them, it is separate from the main object. Okay, so now I can apply a new material by clicking on the material button here and create a new material, and then I want to give it a sort of a blue structure, a blue material, blue metallic material. So I'm going to turn this into a body, so reduce the intensity, the slope, so I give it a strong highlight. Turn on the mirror, give it some reflectivity, so it has that enamel paint look. Alright, so I have basically applied the material to everything here, because since this is in effect a single material. Now if you want to apply two materials onto a single object, you have to click on the plus sign here to create a new material slot. So by clicking on this, okay, and then clicking on this new material, you can actually assign it to other parts of this mesh. Alright, so now for the fabric material, I'm going to create maybe a light red material. Okay, maybe give it a little bit higher contrast. Okay, and then I'm going to use a Oranaya, and okay, the Cook Torrance for the specular. Alright, so I'm going to select only the fabric material. So to do that, you just hold down to Alt and right mouse click to select the loops here, and you can press L and select so that only everything that is linked to this object is selected. Then you choose the option Assign. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this part here. So you can actually select on one of the faces here and then press L. Then the linked faces will be selected. Then you select the material you want to assign the color to and then just click on assign. Okay, so I'm going to press A to deselect, press tab to go to object mode, and your chair is essentially complete. So now let me just move it up so that it doesn't cut into the floor plane. And essentially that's it. That is how you model a Wassily chair, or otherwise known as the Bauhaus chair. Okay, so now just reposition my camera and then just press F12 to render it. Okay, so you can see it is very easy using the extrude tools, the split tools, and the proportional editing tool to create this chair. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you try this out. Thanks for watching.